Welcome to the Vocational Expert Views channel. We're a new channel that will discuss disabilities and vocational expert issues. Today, we're looking at vocational expert in the VA disability system, specifically TDIU. So first, let's look at vocational experts in the forensic arena. When it comes to forensics, more often than not, vocational experts are hired to assess if a person is able to work or not able to work. And we look at this in terms of competitive employment. You may have heard the term substantial gainful employment. And in some arenas, if a person can work, how much money can they earn or how much should they be earning? Many times in disability cases, it's not really about your medical or psychological evidence because a lot of cases you do not meet a medical or psychological grid, which means your case is going to be turning on work limitations. So we look at disabilities and try to determine what work limitations a person has. A lot of people forget about the American with Disability Act and job accommodations, but in the forensic area, this is highly relatable. If you are not able to show your work limitations to your rater, then you will get denied. So again, let's look at this grid rule. In the Social Security system, they have a blue book, and the medical raters and your judges are looking against these grid rules and your medical evidence to see if you meet a grid rule for disability. If you do not meet a grid rule, then your case is going to be termed on vocational issues, vocational terms, and vocational rules. And this is where a vocational expert comes in. It's not about your own occupation. A lot of people believe that if they can't do their own occupation, I'm disabled. And that's not how things work. With the VA and Social Security disability system, they're looking at any occupation and possibly with some job accommodations. This is why you'll hear things like, they can do sedentary work or light duty work. You'll also hear things like you can do unskilled work. And a lot of people, I see them in hearings, they want to tell judges about how complicated jobs are and things like that. But when it comes to simple repetitive work, you really need to think about sorting nuts and bolts, picking up candy and putting it in a box, wrapping things up, folding clothes, matching numbers. In order to prove your TDIU case, you might need a vocational expert. You might need a VA or Social Security disability attorney. But more often than not, you need the expertise of a vocational expert and possibly a vocational evaluation to help you in your unemployability disability claim. The Vocational Expert Views channel is a new channel, so feel free to ask us questions. Please give us some feedback. You can even request new topics. Don't forget to subscribe and like our videos. So, do you need a vocational expert assessment? Who needs a vocational expert assessment? Well, again, if your medical and psychological evidence doesn't meet a grid rule, it's going to turn on vocational terms and issues. You can avoid court if you get a vocational expert consultation up front. Once you get denied, it creates a big barrier to overcome. Can you overcome this? Yes, but that barrier is still there and you still have to find a way to get through. Whereas if you just get your disabilities listed and outlined in vocational terms, it can make things a whole lot easier. You can also use a vocational assessment to reopen a TDIU claim. It's called new and material evidence. It's not just about the evidence you have. You need the right evidence and you need it written up in the correct way. And this is why you need a vocational expert evaluation to be a part of your evidence. Your doctor, employer, mental health professional, they can't just say you cannot work. They're not trained in vocational terms or the world of work. And this is why you need a vocational expert to show how your medical and psychological evidence relates to your ability to work, and we do this in work limitations. A vocational expert can provide an expert statement on these work limitations that your other professionals cannot. When a vocational expert is able to support your unemployability, the VA and Social Security system has to do something with that evidence. They either attack the vocational expert's credentials, which you did assess up front to make sure they had the right credentials, right? So where are they going to go with that information? Well, the Social Security Administration does have vocational experts that they can go to, but this is rare. Usually, if you have a good vocational expert evaluation report, that's the end of your case. Can you get TDIU without a vocational expert evaluation? Yes. But for a lot of people, this isn't the case because your case is going to turn on vocational terms and vocational issues. We do vocational evaluations for veterans nationwide. We've done them for veterans in Guam and the Philippines. We conduct vocational expert evaluations across the world through video and telephonically. And yes, we still do them the old-fashioned way in person. The Vocational Expert Views channel is a new channel, so feel free to ask us questions. Please give us some feedback. You can even request new topics. Don't forget to subscribe. I have over 20 years experience as a vocational expert and have been a certified rehabilitation counselor for over 20 years. I have done many vocational expert professional seminars for American Board of Vocational Experts, International Association of Rehabilitation Providers, National Association of Rehabilitation, Georgia Licensed Professional Counselors Annual Conference. I also have a contract with Social Security as a vocational expert for over 10 years and have done over 10,000 Social Security disability hearings. I've done vocational evaluations, I've done psychological assessments, vocational services, and job placement for Georgia Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities. So, if you're interested in a TDIU Vocational Expert Evaluation, what is step one? Schedule a personal consultation about your TDIU application and your case. You can contact us here. If this goes well and we believe we can support an unemployability report for you, then we are going to request more medical and psychological records and do a more in-depth look. During step one and step two, we're going to be talking about and looking at your evidence to see, do you need psychological or other vocational testing? And then, of course, step four is where you get your vocational expert TDIU report.